Hey everyone, Chris here at Melrose T-Tops. We're going to be doing a video series on C4 84 through 96 Corvette roofs. We got a center clip from a car here we're going to be doing the install on. We're also going to cover the three designs that were used. There was a first, second, and third generation of roofs. So we're going to get into the differences between those and how to install them. Okay, so quick rundown on the parts. And if you don't care about all this information and you just need a quick video on how to install the roofs, I'm gonna shoot those after this one, and then I'll include some links in the description below. So we got in front of us a first, second, and third design in order accordingly. You got your roof frame, lens, rear locator bracket, front mounting hardware, side gasket, weather strip retainer, and corner guides, edge trim. So the frames are, the roofs are basically all the same from 84 through 96, aside from, and I don't know why these changes were made, your guess is as good as mine, the front mounting hardware. First design, 84 through early 86, had a just a cone, locating cone, and second and third design had mounting plates. A little bit different. This one's got a flat bottom with a hump. Third design, actually this is 86, late 86 through 88 years, and then you got 89 through 96. All right, quick rundown on tools needed. You're going to need your install ratchet. If you don't have your original install ratchet, it's missing, just find yourself a cheap T40 wrench. A longer T40 socket will work on a ratchet as well. Marking pencil, and if you have 84 through early 86 Corvette and you order a roof from us, it'll come with one of these flat wrenches, which you're going to need to stick up in between the roof and the windshield frame to tighten down that locating cone. So we got the 89 to 96 roof sitting on there. That's the one we're going to be installing. First design, we'll do a separate video for. It's pretty straightforward. The link will be down in the description. Second design, same as the third design as far as install goes. First thing you're going to notice is the roof's not going to fall into place just like your old roof. Mainly it's the fresh gaskets holding it up. So if you want that rear bolt to grab back here, and this looks a little different because I don't have the rear trim panel, so this is what it looks like without that rear trim panel. You got the rear attach bolt, goes through the frame, and screws into this bracket here. So in order for that bolt to grab, you have to physically take the roof, push it down and back like that. So you get that rear locator, the seat into this cone. If you don't do that, this bolt's just going to keep spinning and it's never going to grab this. As time goes on, you know, after a couple months, it'll start falling and dropping into place. You want to do this. First couple times, you're going to have to push this thing down and back. Get this bolt to grab. If you have someone had already replaced your these weather strips on the car, and they're super hard, it's even going to be more of a fight for you. Some of the weather strips on the aftermarket these days are pretty junky. So I was a little off there. That's why it's not grabbing. Straighten it back out, pushed it back. See if it'll grab this time here. All right. Now we're tightening up. So get your back tight. These rear locator bracket bolts should already be tight once you receive the roof. If not, tighten those too. So back's done. You don't have to worry about that anymore. That's pretty straightforward. Now, get your front bolt started. If doesn't hit that receiver hole right away, you're gonna have to physically move this thing around to get your bolt started. Now, there we go. So you want to get this bolt going. Draw this thing down just so that cone is getting in that receiver a little bit. I'd say about 75% down. Then you're going to have to take your pencil, put some hash marks on this, on the frame. You do an outline. Third one over here. Then we're going to take this back off. We're going to reline up those marks outside the car. Tighten these two bolts to tighten this plate down, and then you should be good to go. Okay, we got the roof back off the car. We got our marked our plates inside the vehicle. We're gonna reline up our lines. Sorry about the lighting issues here. It's gonna move on yet. It's nice to have a third hand at this point. I'm gonna have to probably pause the video. We'll try this real quick. All right, pausing. Okay, so we got the front plates tightened up, lined up with our marks that we made inside the car. We're gonna put it back on the car now, and you should be good to go. Now when you put these things on, you always wanna tighten the back first. You wanna get the back bolts in, draw the roof tightened all the way back. Otherwise, if you try to do the front bolts first, the roof's probably gonna be too far forward. Your bolts you're gonna just sit there fighting, trying to get them in a hole. Back bolts, tighten back, then front bolts down. Okay, roof's back on the car. Tighten our rears on both sides. Stevie. Tighten the rears, both sides. And then go up to your front. And that's it. The roof is now adjusted. Couple final things to mention before we wrap this up. If you need to replace your weather strips, spend some money on them. Don't get cheap ones. The cheaper you go with these things, usually the harder they are and the thicker they are, which is torture on these roofs. Front attach bolt that sits up inside your trim panel, that's held in place by a plastic encapsulator. It just usually presses in. So if you need to replace this bolt, if it's stripped out or something like that, or worse, it's just seized up and you got to cut it off, you're gonna have to drop your trim panels, your visor, your rearview mirror. Just pull that cap off, put a new bolt in, put it back together. Finally, you know, when you do these adjustments, make sure the car is parked on flat ground, not sitting crooked. That will affect also. Sometimes that windshield frame will move. You want to make sure tires are inflated properly. It's on flat ground. And then if things been in an accident or you're just having some troubles, X measure this from the front attached to the rear one. those should be no more than an eighth of an inch different, if that. I just measured this car and it was pretty much dead on, the same measurement, both sides. All right, you got any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll get to them as fast as I can. Thanks for watching.